girls, children of all ages, welcome to Robert Sports Show. NFL week number 11. In week 10, I was 10-4 in the one loss against the spread and over under 7-7 on both. Year to date, win loss 91-55 against the spread 72-74, over under 76-70. Week 11 starts out Thursday night with the 6-3 Tennessee Titans versus the 7-2 Pittsburgh Steelers. Both teams have won 4 straight. Line is Pittsburgh by 7, with an over-under of 44. I got the Steelers winning. I got them covering the 7 and under on the 44. Next, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 3-6 versus the Miami Dolphins at 4-5. Tampa Bay is 1-2 versus the AFC this year. This is the rescheduled game from week 1. Miami is 0-2 versus the NFC. They've lost 3 straight. We know week 1 got hurricaned out, I guess, from Hurricane Irene, I believe it was. So this is the kind of makeup game for that, which now this makes basically both teams play 16 straight weeks. Week 1 is their bye week, and they play the rest of the season. Don't know if it's already taken a toll on the two teams, 3-6, 4-5, but we'll see what happens as the season goes on. I am giving the 3 points to Tampa Bay. I got them winning, covering it under on the 41. Next, we have the 175th meeting of these two teams. It dates back to 1930. This is the first of 2 meetings. The second one is on December 16th. We had the 5-4 Detroit Lions versus the 3-6 Chicago Bears out of the NFC North. The Detroit is favored by 3. I got them winning, covering it over on the 42.5. Next, we have the 6-3 Jacksonville Jaguars versus the 0-9 Cleveland Browns. Westgate Sportbook out of Las Vegas had an season over-under wins for the Jacksonville Jaguars at 6.5. Here we are at week 11, and if they win this, they'll be over already. I didn't do the over-under on the team season wins this year for some reason. I didn't have time. I probably would have went under on Jacksonville this year, so big surprise there. Cleveland 0-9, not a big surprise. Now, they do currently are the only winless team in the NFL. San Francisco and New York both have 1 win. So if Cleveland keeps their losing streak up, they will get the number 1 draft pick for the 2018 NFL Draft. Jacksonville favored by 7.5. I got them winning, covering it over on the 37.5. Next, we have the Washington Redskins 4-5 versus the New Orleans Saints 7-2. Redskins have lost 3 of 4, 4 of 6, while the Saints have won 7 straight. Drew Brees, I mean, what can you say about him? He's not the same gunslinging 5,000-yard season Drew Brees as we've known in the past, but he's turned into more of a game manager to a point, and just enough to win for him. New Orleans is favored by 7.5. I got them winning, covering it under on the 51. Next, we have the Kansas City Chiefs at 6-3 versus the New York Giants at 1-8. The Chiefs started the season off with 5 straight wins. You're like, oh my God, this team is awesome. Can they challenge the undefeated 72 Dolphins or even the Patriots when they went undefeated for the regular season? Yep, then they lost 3 or 4. Now you're looking like, ooh, can they even survive the season? They do have a 2-game lead in the AFC West, so they're safe there. The Giants lost 3 straight. They do have the 3rd worst record in the NFL. The 4th worst record has 3 wins, so they do have a 1 to play with here. If they accidentally win another game, they should be 2nd or 3rd in the overall NFL draft. Chiefs winning, I got them winning, covering the 10.5 and over in the 44.5. Next, the Baltimore Ravens at 4-5 versus the Green Bay Packers at 5-4. Baltimore got off to a 2-0 start this year, and they lost 5 of 7. Last week was the first win Packers had this year without Aaron Rodgers, but Brett Hundley has a hamstring injury, so he's questionable or doubtful for Week 11. So that could be bad for Green Bay. Baltimore favored by 2. I get them winning, covering, and over on 37.5. Next, we have the Arizona Cardinals at 4-5 versus the Houston Texans at 3-6. Arizona's lost 2 and 3, while the Texans have lost 3 straight. They're without their both teams are without their starting quarterback. Arizona favored by 1.5. I got them winning, covering, and under on the 47.5. Next, I think one of the games of the week, we had the Los Angeles Rams at 7-2 versus the Minnesota Vikings at 7-2. Look at the Westgate Las Vegas season over/under wins for these two teams. LA's already over. Westgate had them at 6, and they had the Vikings at 8.5. So right now, if the playoffs began, Minnesota would have a first-round bye, and this would possibly a second or even the NFC Championship game could be these two teams. Minnesota's favored by 2.5 in Minnesota. Can't believe I'm doing this. Sorry, Gio. I'm giving the 2.5 to the Rams. I got the Rams going into Minnesota and beating the Vikings. Rams cover the 2.5 and under on the 46. Next, we have the Buffalo Bills at 5-4 versus Los Angeles Chargers at 3-6. Bills have lost 2 straight now since they're going from the East Coast to the West Coast. Bills have done this twice this year. They went to Denver and they went to Oakland. They're 2-0 when they cross the country like that. Chargers have lost 2 straight. Chargers are favored by 4.5. I'm giving the 4.5 to Bills. I got the Bills plus 4.5. They cover that and under on the 43.5. Next, we have the New England Patriots 7-2 versus the Oakland Raiders at 4-5. Patriots have won 5 straight. So when Father Time went to find Tom Brady, I'm thinking Tom Brady was either at the gym or he was outside when Father Time knocked on the door. So until Father Time can serve him the papers for being, a 40-yard quarterback, nothing's slowing him down. Patriots favored by 6.5, winning, covering it under on the 52. Next, we have the Cincinnati Bengals at 3-6 versus the Denver Broncos at 3-6. Wow. Who could go back to the beginning of the season and said, okay, in week 11, Denver and Cincinnati, both teams will be 3-6. Never would have believed it. Cincinnati's lost 2 straight, Denver's lost 5 straight. Denver has got to get a quarterback. I don't know if that's the only reason they've lost 5 straight games and, or 3-6, but that defense is really good. So Denver winning, covering the 2.5 and under on the 39.5. Next, another game I think would be game of the week. The Sunday night game, the Philadelphia Eagles at 8-1 versus the 5-4 Dallas Cowboys. Philadelphia is 3-0 versus the NFC East, while Dallas is 2-0 versus the NFC East. These two play week 17, so that could be for either Dallas making the playoffs or for a first round bye for Philadelphia. So there's a lot right on that game. This is the 116th meeting between these two teams. 117th meeting. Dallas is 65-61. Now, for the last 2 years, Dallas has won their first game and Philadelphia has won their second game. But 3 years ago, Philadelphia won their first game and Dallas won the second game. So that could be this year because I got Philadelphia winning, got them covering the 3 and over in the 48.5. Monday Night Football, we have the 5-4 Atlanta Falcons versus the 6-3 Seattle Seahawks. Seattle has won 5 of the last 6, while Atlanta got off to a 2-0 start with a 2-4 since then. Seattle's favored by 3, got them winning, covering, and under on the 45. Alright, that will wrap up NFL week number 11. Make sure you check out Robert Sports Show for the NASCAR Ford EcoBoost 200, EcoBoost 300, and 400 Truck Series, Xfinity Series, and Cup Series races. Check out the NCAA Week 12, which that'll be up after the NFL game. I'm waiting for the championship committee rankings tonight and see where Georgia falls and see where how far down Notre Dame goes, how far up Miami goes. Also this week, for WWE fans, we have the WWE NXT War Games preview and review. We'll have a preview for Survivor Series and the review early next week. As always, thanks for watching our Average Sports Show, and just have a great day. Have a spiffy day. Average Sports Show, your YouTube leader in sports channel content.